One of the biggest games of this upcoming college football season is going to be Texas versus Michigan. Texas right now is a 3.5-point favorite going into this week 2 matchup. And we're about to find out if Michigan is still an elite team or not based off if they're able to win this game, because Texas is expected to make it to the SEC championship and they're supposed to be in the national championship conversation. They still have a really productive offense. They're going to have a top 10 offensive line entering this year. You still have Quinn Ewers, who isn't an elite quarterback, but he's a very good quarterback. He has the potential to play at an elite level this year. And your defense, your secondary should be improved, but your defensive line could take a step back with the losses of Byron Murphy and T'Vondre Sweat to the NFL, which both of those guys were 2 All-Americans. They were 2 of the best defensive tackles in college football, respectively. So if you're Michigan, although you do have more question marks coming into this game compared to Texas with the lack of production that you have coming back, you still have the opportunity, if you still are an elite team, to win this game, because you are playing Texas at home, and we know how difficult it is to win in Ann Arbor, and they've been one of the best home teams in college football over the past 3 years. The question that I have about Michigan doesn't really lie with defense per se, and I'm not even going to say that I care too much about the lack of proven production that they have going into this year. We know that with Wink Martindale taking over at defensive coordinator, this is still going to be an elite unit. They got Mason Graham, one of the best defensive tackles in college football. You got Will Johnson, arguably the best cornerback in college football, depending on who you ask. There still are a lot of good players on this defense. Wink Martindale is one of the most respected defensive coordinators that we've seen in the NFL over the past decade. He runs a aggressive style defense that's really blitz heavy, and you should still see this Michigan defense sustain the level of play that they had last year under Jesse Minter. Although I don't think they're going to be number 1 in yards per game allowed and points per game allowed, I still expect this to be a top 10 defense. Where the big question lies for Michigan and their ability to win this matchup is going to hinge on how good is their quarterback play going to be. Now, Alex Orji is expected to be their starting quarterback this year, but Sharon Moore has been non-committal on naming a starting quarterback at this moment right now, but we expect it to be Orji. And the thing with Alex Orji is that this dude looks like freaking Hercules with his shirt off, man. He's really cut up, really well built. You definitely can tell that this dude is an athletic freak, and he's a really explosive runner with the ball in his hands. He reminds me a lot of Anthony Richardson, and I know that the Anthony Richardson comparisons get thrown out pretty frequently every time this is a quarterback that's 6'4", 6'5", that's 230 plus, but Alex Orji really does have Anthony Richardson similarities, man. He has rare twitchiness that you don't see from quarterbacks of his size. He also has the ability to, once he gets in the open field, he's going to be really hard to bring down because he looks like he runs 4.4, 4.5. The biggest concern with Alex Orji is his consistency as a passer. And it doesn't matter how dominant Michigan is going to be running the football this year if you don't have the ability to be balanced. What has made Michigan's offense so unstoppable the past 3 years has been how well balanced they've been able to be with J.J. McCarthy, and I've got the other dude, Cade McNamara. He's now at Iowa. With Alex Orji, if you can still get competent quarterback play out of him, with him being an accurate passer, he doesn't need to light the world on fire. All he needs to do is be good enough, like what we saw out of J.J. McCarthy, and not lose Michigan games. If he can do that, then we can definitely see Michigan right back in the Big Ten championship. But I have major concerns about Alex Orji and how consistent he's going to be throwing the football in this game. Now, I've talked to a few Michigan fans who believe that they have the advantage in this game because not only are they playing at home, but they're a better team up front than what people think, despite the talent that they've lost to the NFL. And I would somewhat agree with a little bit of those statements because we know that Michigan is offensive line, defensive line you. They don't have to rebuild on the O-line and D-line. They just reload. But at other positions, at wide receiver, they're not that good. They don't recruit that well at those positions. So this is going to be a run-heavy team. And with this being a run-centric team, if you're Texas, if you can make Michigan one-dimensional and this becomes a game where Alex Orji has to show us just how good of a passer he is, they're going to be in trouble. And if I'm Steve Sarkisian and Texas defensive coordinator, that's what my game plan is going to be in this game. I'm going to stack the box with 8, 9 guys, and I'm going to force Michigan to put the football in the air. You're going to have to show me that you can win with Alex Orji. And I'm not doubting this, brother. It's just that we haven't seen this dude throw the football. Hell, did he even throw the football that much in the spring game? Don't really know. So if I'm Steve Sarkisian, if I am going to lose this game, Alex Orji is going to have to beat me. I'm not about to allow Michigan to do what they do best, run the football 30, 50, 100 times straight and beat me that way, because we know that's what Michigan's MO is. Although they are losing Jim Harbaugh and you have Sharon Moore replacing him, they still are going to have that same philosophy. They want to bully you. They want to prove that they're more physical up front than you, and they want to take your manhood. I do think that Texas, with how good their offensive line is, though, they're not going to get pushed around by Michigan's defense. And Texas offense is going to score points on this unit. Michigan is at least going to have to show us that they can score 24 points if they want to win this game. It doesn't matter how good your defense is if your offense isn't productive. If Michigan's offense is struggling, there's only so much their defense can do until they start to get worn out and they get gassed due to the amount of plays that they're on the field. Texas, not only are they a really good team throwing the football, but they also are a really good team running the football as well. I'm taking Texas to win this game. 31-14 is going to be my final score prediction because I don't trust Michigan's offense. I think this game is going to be a little bit slow for the first 3 quarters. Texas ends up pulling away in the 4th quarter due to a couple of Alex Orji mistakes and the offense just sputtering too much for this defense to continue to sustain a high level of play because they end up getting winded and they're on the field for too many plays. And we see Texas end up winning big based off how strong of a performance they're going to have in the 4th quarter. I understand that Michigan is a really tough place to win at on the road, but this is the same Texas team that beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And I'm not trying to disrespect Ann Arbor, but let's not act like winning in Tuscaloosa isn't more difficult than winning at Michigan. Alabama has lost less than 10 games the past decade at home. So for you to be able to win in Tuscaloosa and you still return a lot of production from that team, I think that with the experience you're going to have, understanding how to win in a hostile environment like this, plus with Michigan having concerns at quarterback, I like Texas to win, and I do think that they're going to do it convincingly. I don't think Michigan is going to be a terrible team this year, and people call me a Michigan hater, and if you Michigan fans still think I'm a hater after watching this, then I don't really know what to tell you. But Texas is one of the best teams in college football. You don't have to lecture me how talent is and everything, but they have way less question marks in this game than what Michigan does. We don't know how good the quarterback play is. We don't know how efficient this offense is going to be. So I just trust Texas more because they have less uncertainty than what Michigan has. So give me the Longhorns to win this week 2 matchup.